superstars. Welcome to Bookends of Recovery. I'm Laura. As always, I want you to know sobriety and healing are within your reach. You can make it happen. How do I know this? Because I did it, and so can you. I know. I said I wouldn't be around for the holidays, and yet here I am. I thought about it, and I was like, man, holidays are tough. And not for everybody, but for some people. And I love you guys. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. And for those of you that, the holidays are stressful for, or if you're lonely, I was like, you know what, let me just do a podcast and, if I can, be a help to somebody. So here I am. You guys know that I talk about self-care probably too much. We know why. It's kind of like boundaries. I talk about them all the time. It's because I didn't take care of myself, and I want to make sure that you guys do. So having just all those tools while you're on your journey of recovery and healing, just, imagine your toolkit just overflowing with them. That's what I want you to have. And so that's what we're going to talk about. If you've been listening for a long time, this may be repetitive for you because I'm going to put all of the tools that we've talked about in one place. So, you can click out. I won't be offended, but it also may be a good review for you. And you can bookmark this. And plus, if you hear something that you're not familiar with, don't worry. These are on my website, and so it's good to have. A lot of them have worksheets that go with them, so you can also go to the worksheet page as well. And the worksheet page also has some great worksheets on self-care and self-love. So, and those are all free to download. Not to mention, this is the perfect time because we've got New Year's right around the corner. So, yeah, everything's kind of just coming together. One of the cornerstones of when you're starting out in recovery and in healing is routine. To me, I think it's like a building brick in the foundation of your recovery. I don't know why, but whenever I talk about that, I always think of like a castle. What is that, like a buttress, right? I don't know, I could be wrong. If my husband was here, he'd be like, oh gosh, how could you get this wrong? He's more of a nerd than I am. But, and you want to make sure that's a solid foundation, right? Because if you're building it on sand, it's just going to collapse. So you want a solid foundation. And when we have a routine, that helps you manage your day. And it gives you this sense of purpose. It gives you direction. And when you have a routine, that helps you avoid things like boredom, loneliness, anxiety, and it can limit unpredictability, that feeling of chaos that you might get inside your brain. And so when we reduce those feelings, we have a better chance of not doing something impulsive, right? Because that's what we're trying to avoid. So the best place to start is with your sleep, right? We want a sleep routine. If you can, and I highly suggest it, even though it sounds super boring, wake up and go to bed at the same time whenever it's possible. I know it sounds lame, but even on the weekends, I usually go to bed and wake up around the same time. It's like I sound like a party animal, if I'm going to bed at 10:30, 11. It's like, whoa, look at you. It's like you're wild and crazy. I know. But, I during the week I get up at like 5:30, and so I'm in bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Well, actually about 10 o'clock during the week. And so, if I'm staying up late, that's like, whoa. So on Friday and Saturday, it's like, oh, she's crazy this week. But yeah, that's my routine. And if you're someone who struggles getting up early, you can get things like a sunrise clock. I have one. I love it. I don't have it in my room because I don't need one. Nature does that for me. But even in the winter, because I do get up so early, it's going to be before sunrise. But I have it in my work from home office because it does kind of, what is that? Sad seasonal affectional? Nope, that's not right. Seasonal affective disorder. I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong. That, when I go into my office, it's like, "Rrr, rrr." And so I have, little globe lights on my ceiling, and then I have the sunrise clock that kind of helps me wake up and also set the tone for the day. And if you're someone who struggles with sleeping, I remember a long time ago, somebody said what helped him was picturing just a blank black wall. And I was like, okay, gave that a try. It actually worked. He also said just kind of imagining what the void would look like, just simply nothingness, which was interesting to me because how do you picture like just nothing? And but it worked. And I also use counting, which I don't count sheep because I just couldn't. So I would count other things. Unfortunately, because of my health, now I have insomnia. But back before all that kind of stuff worked for me. So just try and figure out what can help you. And then having morning and evening self-check-ins is something else that you can add to your routine. And so when you wake up each morning, you can do a self-check-in to evaluate how you're feeling mentally and physically. So you'll kind of do a rundown of your physical self, aches and pains, that kind of thing. And then you'll notice your emotions and you can name them. This doesn't have to take long either. Just kind of wake up and like, all right, I'm feeling nervous, or I'm feeling jealous, or I'm feeling anxious, whatever it may be. If you're noticing triggers, take time to gently explore them without getting all caught up in them. And then think about what you need for the day. If this is something that you're not quite sure about, there's a guide on my website, or you can, if you need to, use the Meet It, Greet It, Transform It technique. And then think about what you have planned for your day. Are you able to meet your goals? If you're not, is there something on your plate for the day that you can let go of? And before you get all wrapped up in, no, I can't, really think about it and be kind to yourself about it. I love the whole, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So just be gentle about it. Remember to think about your spoons. That's something that we kind of tend to forget, right? We don't always think about our spoons. And if you're not familiar with what spoons are, that's the spoon theory. And it just means your energy levels. So for those of us in, recovery and healing, we have to be mindful of what our energy levels are. Are we in this recovery and healing, and especially in the beginning, we kind of forget about our energy. We forget just how much energy is depleted when we are either going through withdrawal, or we're learning new tools, or we're trying to heal from something. That zaps our energy levels. And so we need to look for ways to fill up that energy cup, whether that's going through, finding people that are healthy to support us, or finding recovery tools that energize us. And so you can, like I said, you can learn more about that on my website. But yeah, just you can do, and then you, at the end of your day, you'll do the same thing, and you can take a few minutes to review your day and assess how you're feeling mentally and physically. You'll want to wind down by doing something relaxing, like reading or listening to relaxing music. If you have a sound machine, you can put that on. And remember to put a glass of water by your bed. I know that sounds silly, but you'll see why in just a second. Because you're going to hydrate. So as you're doing your self-check-in, grab that glass of water by your bed and take a few sips. Because throughout the day, you should be drinking water, and lots of it. You'll also want to stretch. So as you finish your glass of water, you can do some stretches. And this can give you that boost of energy to start your day. And if you're looking for some simple ideas to add to your either morning or evening routine, you can do something like a skincare routine, because it's simple, it's cost effective, it doesn't have to be, anything like what you've seen advertised on TV or anything like that. When you see those super expensive products, it can be something simple. And it's easy to stick to, and it doesn't require like a lot of products or money or time. So in the morning, you can use like a gentle facial cleaner to wash your face, and then a lightweight moisturizer to keep your skin soft and to prevent dryness. And then if you have oily or acne-prone skin, look for one that won't clog your pores. And then apply sunscreen. Easy peasy, right? So this is just something to kind of, and I'll explain why. Because let's say you have a setback and you're looking for, you're struggling and you've had this setback and things just feel super wonky. One of the things that you want to do right away is get back into a routine. And one of the easiest things to do is getting back into your skincare routine. It may sound silly right in this moment as I'm talking to you, but after a setback, it kind of brings back that sense of normalcy. And so if you can find something that you can do every day where you're like, okay, I was doing this before the setback and now I'm doing it after, you're like, okay, I'm good again, or I'm starting to get good again. So find something that will resonate with you, whatever it may be. If you're somebody who, if you read a chapter of a book every night, or our daily reader, something like that. If you have intentions, set your intention for the day as you're doing your skincare routine or you're brushing your teeth in the morning, and see if you're noticing the things that I'm sharing for your daily morning or evening routines are not taking a lot of time. So remember to keep it simple. We're applying the KISS method here, right? Keep it simple, silly. Like my intention is to attend group today or attend a meeting today. My intention is to stay grounded today. My intention is to walk in nature. Like whatever it is that you intend to do. And we're setting intentions so that we're not overloading ourselves. Something else that can help you, another self-care tool, is journaling. Trust me, you don't have to be a novelist to benefit from journaling. And we recommend it because it works. And there are several different kinds that you can choose from. You can try expressive journaling, where you just write it out, just write out exactly what you're feeling, just rather than keeping it bottled up inside. This is where you don't worry about, spelling errors or grammar. You just write what you're feeling. There's free writing. Of course, I love calling it word vomit. And this is definitely my favorite because I just turn to it so often. And I kept notebooks in my car, at the office, at home. And when that downward spiral began, I just set a timer for 5 minutes and just, bam, wrote whatever came to mind. There's prompted journaling, which I have worksheets on. So if you're not really sure where to begin, having some of those prompts can give you that kickstart that you need to get started. And of course there's apps and journaling books. So yeah, there's just a ton of stuff. And then there's gratitude journaling. And this is also one of my favorites because, I thought I was a grateful person already, but then when push came to shove, I wasn't as grateful as I thought. I was kind of like superficially grateful. Like I was grateful for the big common things, but if I dug a little deeper, I was like, oh, hang on a second. And I've already shared before about, my favorite exercise that I did in mindfulness, which was mindful eating. So I won't share that again, but that was a really, really good exercise for me. And so that leads me to daily gratitude, especially if we're in the midst of, healing. Sometimes we have to choose happiness, right? I had to choose happiness because it definitely didn't choose me. And that gratitude played a big part in my healing and in my recovery because it changed my perspective on things. And so I definitely had to make it part of my daily routine. And so if that's something that you need to do, Um, make an effort to add that either in the morning or in the evening. And so when something negative happens, is there a way to see past it and see an opportunity to grow from it? Can you choose happiness instead? What's my favorite saying, right? Oh, how many? I don't know. How many do I have, right? But instead of saying, what good is it? Can you say, what is the good? So you can create a gratitude list. You can list 10 things that you're grateful to have and challenge yourself to think of things aside from those biggies like family and house and, stuff like that. And sometimes you have to dig a little deeper. And go ahead and look up mindful eating. It's an interesting exercise. I really enjoyed it. You can do affirmation cards. We've talked about that before, where you can either start or finish your day, or maybe even in the middle of the day if you want, by reading your affirmation cards. And these are positive I statements, where it is stuff like, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am confident, I feel good about my body, I am worthy. Statements like this. And I have examples on both worksheets and I believe also on my website. Also, I know that we can't always schedule what time we take a break to eat, but meals, you have to eat around the same time each day and make sure you're eating, a healthy as possible breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're like me and you enjoy snacking in between meals, try to find a healthy snack. Now, I will confess, okay, there's a brand out there, it's called Bobo's. I'm kind of a big fan of Bobo's. I love them. They're from Colorado and I get them, shipped to me. I just love them. But I also love goldfish. And so I have a thing of goldfish, but I don't eat them every day. They're kind of like a treat. But I also have, strawberries in the fridge. I also have sliced apples. And so there's a balance between what I do and, how I treat myself. I have Oreos in there, but I don't have them every day. And it sounds silly, but I limit how many Oreos I have. So it's like 4 a day. So, or not a day, but 4 every time I have them. So I don't know. I'm weird like that. So don't feel like you have to abstain from a sweet treat now and then. We just need to make sure that we're not substituting one thing for another, because sometimes that'll happen. Like you'll quit something and then switch over to something else. So we just dive into whatever else it might be. So that's just what you're keeping an eye out for. It's important to have a support system. This is such a big part of your self-care, and, just having that recovery team, because you can't be expected to carry all of this alone. When you're participating in a community, you're also participating in connection, empathy. You're getting learning and growing opportunities. So think about who makes up your sobriety circle. And this can be anyone from your counselor, your life coach, a sponsor, a trusted friend. You can do this in your support group, a 12-step meeting, like whatever it is that you're, whatever direction you're going with your recovery. And then if you're a loved one of someone who's struggling, you can create a healing hive to lean on when times are challenging. So, and it's the same thing, like, if you're going to a support group or, a 12-step group, whatever it may be, or it can be a trusted friend, anyone who understands what you're going through. And even if you haven't told anyone, what's going on in your world, you can still reach out to someone during those low moments and just talk about like a movie you just watched or get an idea for a recipe. The idea is just to connect when you're feeling low so that you're not going to spiral. I mean, you can reach out to me. It may take me a day to get back to you, but you can still reach out to me. I'm here. And also, don't be afraid to reach out to a professional. Mine helped me navigate through my relational trauma and my childhood abuse. She is fantastic, and so much of my healing is because of her. She is one of the best forms of self-care that I did for myself. Just absolutely amazing. And yeah, I'm forever grateful to her. Another great thing to add to your toolbox is grounding and breathing techniques. They are a great way to get into the present moment and stop triggers and those spiraling negative thoughts. You know how sometimes a thought will pop into your head and you're like, oh, that's fine. And then bam, it goes from 0 to 60. And I talk about breathing techniques so often, right? But that's not the only grounding technique there is. There are a ton. And of course, I've got them all, go on my site and type in grounding techniques, type in browsing, type in breathing, and then also type in finger holds. That's another one that is great. And it's also one of my favorites because it does more than just anxiety. It does other stuff as well. You can create a safe space. For those of us in recovery and healing, knowing how to handle challenging days and moments, of course, is an essential part of our journey. And when you're just having one of those days, you don't want to have one of those days like Limp Bizkit. So having a safe space that you can go to, it can alleviate your stress. It can calm you. And I don't care where you go. All I care about is that you have a spot that you designate as your safe space. So we've talked before about making sure it's a comfortable spot. So I had, in the beginning, all I had was a comfy chair in a quiet area. Of course, now that's grown and changed as, children moved out of the house and everything. But you want to make sure, I've shared before, I've had clients who, one was in their car, another one used a walk-in closet, someone else, it's a bathroom, like everybody just did what they had to do. Because when you're dedicated to your healing, when you're dedicated to your recovery, you do whatever it takes. And you just want to make sure that that space is neat and tidy, because a clean space leads to a calm mind. And so if that feels overwhelming to you, just create SMART goals so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Chunk it down. And then if you have room, add things to it that make your heart smile. If you don't have room, when you're going into your safe space, bring your go bag with you. And something else you can do is create a why statement. And this is designed to keep you focused and on track. And you want to know, what is your why? What is your purpose for wanting long-lasting sobriety? What is your reason for wanting to heal? Or what made you want to decide to support your loved one? And so I created this acronym to kind of help get you started. So W is for what, H is for how, Y is for yes. And so I'm going to do it very quickly, only because, I have it on my website. But W is what. So what motivates you? What excites you about your future when you make this positive change in your life? Like, why do you want to change? So when you close your eyes, what is your burning passion that can keep you motivated? And try to list as many as you can. H is for how. How will you make these changes? And what, are they reasonable goals? And think about when you want to start. Like, what is your game plan? And then how can you maintain this change? And don't get overwhelmed, because this is just a plan. It's not something you're going to be like, okay, I'm doing this tomorrow and it's all got to get done. This is just a plan. And then what happens if you go off track, right? And then the why is yes. In other words, you can do this. Remind yourself every single day what a superstar you are. No matter how you're feeling in this moment, do something to affirm your awesomeness. Be your own cheerleader. They talk about fake it till you make it. Well, this is it. Sometimes you just have to understand that you're a superstar, whether you believe in yourself or not. Okay, so we're going to leave it off here. This is going to be a 2-part podcast, and we will do the next part next week. So I want you to know that no matter where you are in your journey, I am so proud of you. Don't forget, enjoy your holidays. You are absolutely capable of anything, and I have faith in you. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to check out the tools and the worksheets. You have an amazing day. You deserve it. I guess it would help if you knew where the stuff was. Bookendsofrecovery.com. This is Laura. Thank you so much for being here.